how's it going? So this is part 2 of useContext. So this is wrapper around index. Now essentially the syntax 1 and syntax 2 are exactly the same, to be honest with you. The only difference in here is that you are using the entire app as a block of context. Now the drawbacks of this is that whenever context changes, the entire app is going to re-render, right? So that's a bit of a problem because you don't really like when you're trying to do like this is a shitty code because for something like this you really want to use Redux toolkit. Right? You don't want to use you want to use a store because then you can have a global state and then only when that state corresponding corresponding to the component. So when the state corresponding to the component changes, only then the corresponding component updates, not the whole app. So does that make sense? So you have store, you have name, and that name is consumed by 1 out of 10 components. So when that name changes, only 1 component out of 10 updates. Even though the store is global, it still only updates 1. Whereas in context, if you do that, all 10 components are going to update because all 10 components are inside the context block. And that's the problem. Essentially, everything else is the same. You create context, you create context through React Context, right? Creation. Once you create it, you put app context provider here, and then you put children. Right? So you are no longer importing. The only difference is that you do not import anything into it, right? What you do then is you simply put, you import the app provider, which is this entire component in here. So think of this as a wrapper, our block of code. So this is like the wrapper, and then you wrap your app with it. And that's it. Past that point, every single component has now access to this context because it's children. So you no longer need to import components into it, right?